Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2. Let me introduce the most winningest, that's a word, player in all of StarCraft 2 history. One of a handful of StarCraft 2 millionaires. Of course, it's the finisher, Serral. He's just better. He doesn't even bother with those small-time tournaments when he can win the big ones. He's definitely a favorite against the Korean Protoss, the upstart on the other side. He's gotten a little more consistent lately, but definitely punching up here. It's Zoun. He loves building disruptors. He loves his ground toss. He rarely turtles, though who knows against Serral. Obviously, you got to go with the highest percentage plays. And we're here for the Homestory Cup playoffs, a best of 5. Serral opens up with a pool first. A pool first. He's gonna do what I think that's a anti-Zoun sort of play, because he knows that very likely there's gonna be some sort of drama, some sort of early pressure, some might even say cheese. Okay, but Serral knows how to defend it, and sometimes the best defense is a good offense. There's already Zerglings in the base. Taking a look around, Zoun has done nothing. He went for the normal gate expand. He got a probe in. He saw that there wasn't going to be a huge follow-up to this. You can look at the gas. If there's no gas, and all they can make is slow links. Oh my God! Stop right there! Citizen's arrest. He actually pinned the Zergling up against the pylon. Now, the second Zergling going to get a scout, obviously. He's going to see the Stargate there. But beautifully done by Zoun to... It's a bit of a mental victory against the pool first place as well. Serral dodging the adept hits by creating those spore crawlers. Maybe he gets one. Ooh, Serral with perfect micro so far. Oh, and the Zerglings come back. The adept. Oh, wait, one more hit. Okay. So, while so much action has happened, neither side committing much. A total of 3 Zerglings and 1 probe lost. So, very close to being more dramatic, but they're professionals here. And aren't going to lose anything for free. I shouldn't, at least. And this bodes well. I think a big issue with Zoun has been his nerves. He's struggled with maintaining composure against some of the top players. I think he's got the speed. He's got the strategy. I know that you can just throw that word in there, but I think he's usually steps ahead of his opponents. But then he kind of flounders it. He kind of bungles it a lot of the time, and he cannot afford to lose any of those early units or anything that spirals out of control against Serral. It's a Void Ray first. Ah, yes. Throwing shade is the strat. He's got 2 more gates. There's going to be 4 gates in total, if you don't count the Stargate, and we don't, because it's a completely different thing. The Void Ray is suspicious in and of itself. The Void Ray existing, like, you don't build a Void Ray if you're going for Stargate. I know it sounds a little counterintuitive, but the Void Ray is your best all-around option. Ask any 4v4 player in the Gold League. But the Void Ray can shut down the Overlords, it's your defense against roaches, it denies scouting, and it potentially pulls queens out of position and defends a warp prism. But the one thing we don't have right now is a robotics facility. The robotics facility is what usually creates the warp prism. Well, it always creates the warp prism. But it's usually added in with these early glaives plays if you're going all in. But guess what? There's 2 gases behind this. We're doing a weave here. Let me explain that. He's weaving into the glaives. But I think, I'm not sure if we're going to see more Stargates or a much heavier, like, ground tech. But we're not done here. It looks like ground tech. But he's getting glaives, but he also doesn't think this will kill Serral. This is get as much damage as possible, cause a panic, maybe deny, well, either kill some units, or at least deny workers because he has to build units. Beautiful block by Serral, setting himself up with those Evo chambers. Some campaign strategies working out here. And Serral, the block, he doesn't really want to finish the Evo chamber, and Serral knows that. And Zoun knows that, rather. Serral knew that, obviously, because he's the one who had the Evo Chamber, but Zoun knows that he's likely going to cancel it. The thing is, there's already enough roaches out. The Void Ray got a little damage as well. It's actually up to 7 kills here, but what this does is control... Oh, wow. It controls the worker count. He's denied the ability to counterattack with Zerglings. He's forced roaches and Zerglings out. The worker count for Serral's only 56 right now, which is, not very intimidating, not very scary. And that means Zoun, who got his third base behind this, he used it to maintain map control, and now he's got a robotics bay. Are we really rushing Ruptor? I know he likes disruptors. Okay, everybody likes disruptors until they're on the receiving end. Wow. Very boldly going where he's gone many times before. This can't be for yeah, straight into Raptors. Serral, did he get a scout? He knows.
Swarm forces under attack.
By the way, Serral using the Abathur
Swarm
announcer.
Forces under attack.
Strong choice. Let's see, what does Zoun have? We gotta give it a moment. Default. Boring. Wow. Spire is on the way. Spire, the great choice. I got distracted with the Abathur announcer. But at this point, he's correctly predicted the ground switch. He knows Zoun. He knows it's very unlikely to be that heavy Stargate play. And despite the Void Ray early, and despite the Stargate existing, if you can blindside with a dozen or so mutas, well, you're in a good spot. You're going to have a big opportunity to both take map control and force a response. Zoun is suspicious. He's not building Phoenixes yet, but he's building base defense cannons. He saw gases at the 4th, which is something you rarely get unless you're going for heavy tech. Maybe Ravagers, but it's usually mutas or Hive. Maybe Swarm Hosts occasionally, but Serral morphed Ravagers. Does Serral use grid keys? Maybe. But he morphed some Ravagers, decided against it, goes with the Baneling, sees Zoun moving out. Handful of Adepts on the left flank. Things are going to get real spicy real fast here. As Zoun is out on the map, the mutas are here as well. They're spotted, though. The Blink Stalker is able to intercept Zoun. Getting the mutas before they can get across the map makes it a lot easier to contend with them back at home. And this is a lot of army supply for Serral that's not going to be in the fight. Zoun put so many gateways together so fast. That's a lot of Protoss. Zoun has an army supply advantage, remember. It's just the mutas on the other side. The Disruptor shot goes through the force field. The force field, now, Serral really regretting not having those Ravagers. The Disruptor comes through, zoning out the most dangerous force field in and of itself. Another wave! Another round! Perfect force field. The hatchery participating in the main. Stalkers warped in. Not nearly enough damage for Serral. Decisive timing for Zoun. Perfect execution so far. He gets the 4th base. Ravagers are required, but they're far too late to save the 4th. And Disruptors, well, that's quite a target to aim at. And now the Blink Stalker count is so damn high. The mutas were cleaned up. They were not enough. This timing is so strong from Zoun. It's so well done, but he's got to be careful not to go too far as the Zerglings are getting filled in. Beautiful splits out of Serral. Minimizes the damage. It's just 2 Raptors. It's not something you can't contend with. This definitely is a beatable army if Serral's able to consolidate his forces. Those Disruptors running out of shots, more warp-ins, a couple force fields slowing things down, but the Banelings are starting to trickle in. 1-1 done for both flavors of Zerg units here. Some of the Overlords caught as Serral focusing on other things. Disruptors have recharged, sprays and prays. The Void Ray still adding some damage. Disruptor shot fades through. That one connects. Triple kill on the Ravagers. And Serral's running out of steam. Another shot has to run away, but he's on creep. He can maneuver more quickly. Blink Stalker's coming back. +2 ranged attack for Serral. Blinking back. Not blinking far enough to stop the Banelings from doing some critical damage. But the Stalker count, it's still too high. Behind the Zoun has 63 probes, sprays and prays, blocks forward though. Zoun is feeling confident. He's recharged the Ruptors. He's kept them intact. They haven't gotten that many kills. But this has been some very careful, controlled disruptors. Just dangerous force fields for the most part. And Zoun with a decisive game 1. Beautifully done. That was perfectly executed. Serral probably regretting not going for those Ravagers instead of Banelings earlier. But wow. He really thought he had the time to get Mutas into the base. But Zoun, he saw the gases on the fort. And that gave him enough of a warning in order to take it home. The fact he was able to shut down the Mutalisk with no effort, that was 1,000 essentially. More than that. That was 20 army supply and a huge amount of resources that went into the Mutas that just did nothing. And that is kind of the story of Mutas and Legacy of the Void. Is the economies get too large too quick. And Mutas don't really have that niche that they did before we had the 12 worker start and all that. Because there's already enough, not really extra, but resources and income to have defenses while still attacking. There rarely is a window where your opponent... the only time Mutas can really work is if they just aren't building anti-air. Like if the army was, for example, Mass Adept or like Immortal Charge Lot or something, then you have limited anti-air. But Zoun filled in the Blink Stalkers, which are not a counter to Mutas, but they also aren't terrible against them. Like in a 30 Muta versus 30 Stalker situation, the Mutas are probably going to win, especially with some Lings involved. But that was actually incredibly well played by Zoun. That is some of the most careful, controlled. It kind of reminded me of a parting style there. Like, yes, he took the extra bases. Yes, he took a very quick third, but at no point was he all in. He was just hitting his timings. And Serral did not defend. He was not ready for that first wave. That was so many Stalkers. I think part of it, the Adepts... The Adepts did what Mutas kind of used to do. They slowed down the economy and forced a strong response, even though they didn't get a lot of damage done. Just their existence had to be respected. And he worked off that beautifully to get his third up. Like, Serral never attacked. Like, he never got across the map. He never had any units that could. So, beautifully done. Well, robotics facility is the choice. And game 2. Jimmy, I can't even hear those Zerglings. Yeah, that'll change everything. Now we know. Cosmic Sapphire is your macro map. This is the map that most players, especially in like best of threes, will veto against Zerg. Maybe not in Protoss versus Zerg as much. Size. Okay? The sheer distance between the bases. The rush distance, the amount of bases, the rich Vespine to the north, and the gold base to the southwest. Those all affect... I don't need to raise my hand. I can speak at any time, but... Okay, I know Zoun loves disruptors, but have you ever loved disruptors this? He's like... What if... He's just going straight for it. He's gonna go disruptor drop. Oh my god, the danger drop. Okay. He's not making a prism yet. He probably has it queued up after the observer. He does. Wow. Find someone who loves you like Zoun loves Disruptor. I really liked what he did with them last game. I think players have a tendency to substitute quantity for quality with Disruptors. 3 or 4 well-controlled disruptors and then filling in with a strong ground army is almost always better than, like, 9 disruptors and whatever else you can put on the field. At some point, there's diminishing returns, and they become a liability. I've rarely seen a Protoss player efficiently control more than, like, 5. I mean, usually you want to have a few extra just in case, but they're not cheap. And if you miss your shots, you've invested so much in something that is very unreliable. I like that we found in Game 2, we have a new, exciting way to simulate having a Phoenix. Game 1 was just building a Void Ray, which is like a super buff, like, overweight Phoenix. And now we have Stalker Prism, which is like 3 hallucinated Phoenixes in a trench coat. They're all different ways of creatively killing overlords. But he drops the Stalkers out, makes room for the Disruptors. I wonder if Serral has been convinced. He just takes home to do. I wonder if Serral is now no longer going to be suspicious of the Prism. Just building a Prism at all is suspicious. I think he has an idea. Shots fired! Oh, well, he got a Roach and a Queen. Yeah, Serral handles it. 1 Roach. He takes the shields off the Prism. The Queen can be transfused. So, we're in another... So, here we are. This is a muta-game. On paper, this is a muta-game. He went Robo first. He went Disruptor Drop first. You already have Roach length. It feels like Zoun is trying to bait Muta. He baited him last game. It was very obviously a strong choice, but Zoun's timing was so good, he just slammed him. We missed it, but obviously some real damage was done. Wow. Perfect game from Zoun so far. He damaged pretty much every Queen, but only killed 1. Probably the bruised one from earlier. Yeah. Serral at 62 drones. If he can hold on to this, way more Ravagers than last time, which is, you know, more than 0. But Disruptors fire. Whips out the shots. He's added a Colossus in after these first Ruptors. Just 1. And now he's adding more Ruptors after seeing such a Roach Ravager heavy army. I love how Zoun is playing. There's some beautiful Protoss right there. Don't laugh. That single Colossus makes things so difficult. As does eating some corrosive biles, of course, but you don't need more than the 1 to easily deal with Zerglings here, but I think it helps a lot more than having just 1 more Ruptor there. Serral does have the 4th base. The Observer is in position to spot all this, clips the side. Oh no, Serral! A split second too late. It eats a Ruptor hit. Another one's wandering up. That beautifully placed Observer. Oh, the Disruptor. He still has 1 off cooldown. Zergling counterattack looking good, but Serral... Another shot. Fade away. Serral getting ground down. Once again, Zoun able to chip away at Serral's defenses, taking chunks out of the critical mass of Ravagers. But Serral did anything on the other side of the map. This is a super key point. He got any counter damage. He killed 5 probes. Zoun is only at 44. Serral does have a 4th base right now, and he's going straight for... Don't expect one of us in the wreckage, brother. Okay. He leans into it with 1 Ravager. This Observer, Serral would have shot a corrosive bile at it if he realized. How does he not realize? That Observer was putting in real work for Zoun. The Observer was the real MVP, giving him perfect vision. I'm so surprised Serral didn't shoot it down. He didn't notice. It was perfectly placed. Zoun looking for another angle. He's still very limited. Now this is almost all in. He's only at 44 probes right now. Serral is sitting on 61 drones, but he can't ever bring his units to bear. He ran out of... Oh, but wait! There's more! Oh, what a play! He hit 1. He hit 1 in the Prism. And Serral blindsided. Oh! That Serral was not ready for that at all, and now his roaches. It just takes the one to break the back of the defense. He's running out of space to work with. He can't... The girth of this army here. The hatchery itself is limiting the concave. Oh my god, the Roach Ravager's chasing. The Disruptors are on cooldown. He's building some more. Zoun is still at 44 probes. Serral's holding, but at what cost? Baneling speed is done, but no Banelings on the field. Serral's limited on larva here, to some extent. He's only got 4 queens, so he can't even pull any. Oh. Well, make that 3, but probably the best case scenario was just a queen dying there. God, somehow he dodged everything but with the queen. That was actually insane. This Serral guy is pretty good. At the same time, though, Zoun just keeps the pressure on. This is some incredibly tense Protoss versus Zerg. If Zoun misses 1 or 2 hits, then Serral can overrun him with this army. The Colossus won't stop it. He doesn't have any upgrades at all. It's just the units. At the same time, Serral only has +1 melee. Neither side can really afford it. There's a bunch of gas in the bank for Serral, but he's hurting from minerals. He's getting an infestation pit. Fungal wouldn't hurt. Oh, Disruptor shots. He dodged 2. There's still 2 in reserve. Baneling counterattack. Another Disruptor has to run. Oh. We're still waiting for those Banelings. Another shot. Decent shot, but he's committing with the Zerglings. The Colossus is not able to get through it quick enough. War Prism forced to pull back. There's just not that many probes over there. Disruptors, find a shot. He's juggling right on... Oh my god, there's so many of them. Another one. Another one. He's finding connect. Another one. Oh, he killed that Raptor! Another one. He's killing some of the Raptors. In fact, Zoun falling prey to the classic mistake of having so many Raptors, it feels like you'll never run out. And that might be enough here. He actually had so many Disruptors, he made a mistake. He's been doing so well with just the 2. But as soon as he gets like 4 or 5, he ends up losing them. Oh my god, that hatchery. Nobody sneeze. This is why most of the Zergs have weird noses. Because if they sneeze, their hatchery might die. Oh, that joke didn't work great. It was pretty good. What is happening over here? The Banelings? Oh, +2. He's waiting for +2 melee, I think, to kill the probes. But Zoun is on his last Colossus legs here. Somehow, Serral has held on to this base. Like, 1 Disruptor hit. The Observer. Oh my god, how long has it been here? Too long. This Observer is perfect. Again, Serral just isn't seeing him. Obviously, like, he doesn't need an Overseer. He just needs a Corrosive Bile, which means he hasn't noticed it. Like, Zoun knows exactly when Serral's moving in. And that quarter second of reaction time is this game right now. That quarter second is everything. Huge counterattack. Speaking of quarter seconds, how about the probe count? Probe count down 12, but the Adepts are still doing damage. Serral forced back off of his base. Another round of Disruptor hits. Sprays and prays. Serral's holding for now. The Ravager count is too damn high. The Banelings crashing in, absorbing a lot of hits. The Disruptors are recharging. The economies are even lower than they once were. Trying to chase Zerglings with Raptors. Serral with some select all army action. It's not over. Zoun still has a couple Raptors. They're recharging. He's really committing now. He really, wants/needs this base. The Disruptors have not cooled. Oh, another shot. Zergling counter. The Banelings. Oh, a couple force fields. The Zerglings are get. Oh no, Serral! Oh, quadra kill! Another shot! Ugh. The Zerglings are gonna get the Nexus, though. God, the Disruptors. He gets nothing. Zoun is out of money. Serral is holding by the skin of his very sharp Zerg teeth. not known for a lot of... Oh my god. He hits the hatchery with it. Another shot. He's zoning so well. I don't know how he hasn't killed this. Serral's just moving away. Oh my god. Serral is perpetually one disruptor shot away from winning/losing. It just depends on where it lands. This is insane. Another one. Another one. Zoun smells blood in the water, or maybe it's just desperation here, but he's getting the shots. There's only 2 Ruptors left. Are there enough Blink Stalkers? Serral needs more Zerglings. He needs to buffer here. How many kills? The Colossus has 9 kills! Oh my god! The Disruptors, 13. I don't know in total. 99 kill Colossus. Oh, yes, these are non-Blink Stalkers. Oh, give me kill 100 before I get... Oh, Disruptor down to 1. He still hasn't gotten that 100th kill. I'm just clicking on it. Oh, eats a few hits. There's only the 1 Ruptor. That's all Zoun's been building. Serral seems like he's holding. Zoun can't press the Observer, still finding such value. Disruptor shot, that's his only one! The Colossus! It falls! Oh no! And with it, Serral holds. It got 100? Oh my god. 400 Zerglings. Just an easy defense for Serral there. What madness! Wow. I think the mistake for Zoun was too many. He was juggling too many danger balls. We're going to game 3. Everybody calm down. Calm down. Like, subscribe. Calm down. He built too many disruptors at one time. Like I said, it really does feel like you're juggling flaming swords with him. Once he had 5 of them, he ended up losing 3 and the fight. But when he had 2, he was zoning perfectly. So, I don't know. Maybe at that point, you just add some more Colossi, some Immortals. The diminishing returns are real, though. Wow. That game, I've never seen a game... Maybe I have. But I've never seen a game 1 disruptor hit away from ending. I've never, like, most people don't edge that long. Alright? That was like 8 minutes of 1 disruptor deciding the game. Except it was just barely not enough every single time. Jeez. I mean, at the same time, if the disruptors hadn't connected, Serral would have overrun the army. It had to be just enough to keep the attack going, while also still not enough to break Serral. I don't know. Need some blood pressure things high. Yeah, with the new patch. This is not on the new patch, but Ravager build time is slightly longer. But the disruptor radius is almost 20% less. So, Zoun receiving... I think that's a nerf for Zoun. Yeah, it's only about 2 seconds on the Ravagers, whereas 20% less disruptor radius means... So you can fit about 9 Hydras in it, as opposed to like 15 in the current one, for reference. I didn't test Ravagers, but I'd imagine it's at least a few less. It's really those edge cases, quite literally, when it just barely clips the back leg of the Ravager and the entire thing just combusts. They do have quite a low center of gravity. John with an Oracle. Now this looks like a standard build. This is the standard. Is a Adept Scout, Oracle. Will we see Moracles? Yes. Okay. This is probably our most standard map as well. Tropical Sacrifice, where you have your kind of platform bases, your option, technically, for 3rd and 4th, and then it gets significantly harder to hold on to the outlying bases. Wow, it goes straight for the larva. Screw that egg in particular. I love that. He chose an Evo chamber over a Spore, because an Evo has way more HP. And he just wanted to protect the drone. Ah, clever girl. You gotta be careful that your drone is near the center of it, though. Otherwise, it won't build immediately. It'll just die. Alright. Behind it, a Phoenix and the switch into Twilight Forge. Serral with enough Zerglings to zone out Adepts, and when the Adepts don't come, you can send them to the other side. The Overlord spotted the base as soon as it was built, so Serral knows what's up.
Construct additional pylons.
Always a good tip. Roach, Warren, Lair, +1 melee, Blink, +1 ground weapons, 3 more gates. I got your production tab covered. More drones, more probes. We got a macro game. There will be no sharp early game timing here. Zoun is already at 50 probes and counting. A couple of Adepts. Actually sending him out a bit. No coward. 2 more Adepts will make the difference. Yeah. Will he take a 4th? Or are we going to see just a production explosion? No? Is there a robo? He did not build a robo yet. That's very, very key to note here. No option for disruptors, or more relevantly, a prism. This is... He's adding even more gases, too. So is Serral, but... It looks like he's going to do a blink timing. He's going to at least try to put some pressure on the 4th. Based on the fact... Yeah, we probably could have checked this before, but one of those gateways he's building is currently at Serral's 5th, so... Who needs a warp prism when he can do it the old-fashioned way? Super pylon there, fast warp in with the gateway nearby. The technical term is warp conduit, but super pylon sounds way cooler in my opinion. And more explanatory. Or maybe not, actually, now that I think about it. But cooler, that's all that matters. Well, picks up a queen. Here we go. Once again, Zoun finds a pretty early timing here. Does he not see? Oh my god, the force field state. Zoun is playing so well. He's looking like the better player in these series so far. God, he's just setting this up perfectly. Serral is not handling, he's using the stasis units as a body block. More Blink Stalkers coming in. The Blink Micro continues. Roach speed is done, though, and that's going to make it a little easier. Some transfuses. Another round of Zerglings. Roach is kind of tripping each other. Oh, Stasis at the back. protects the Warpins. The Blink Stalkers continuing forward. Yes, they're all bruised. Most of the shields are stripped away, but they can still blink back. Ravager's morphing, and that gives some free DPS time on these queens. I'm actually, Zoun, I think, realized what was happening. He doesn't have an observer here. He's gonna get the base, though. The oracles will activate to protect the proxy pylon, but Serral loses his fourth, and with it, some very important larvae. He really needs, his army is reliant on overwhelming the Protoss. And now it's 3 base versus 3 base. Here comes Zoun again, I lied. There's another timing attack. This one's a higher economy, more production, but it's a timing nonetheless. And that timing is before Serral can establish his fourth and get that overwhelming production online. The stasis at the back was already triggered. The Zergling count is pretty damn high. Zoun's in a precarious position right now. He's got to be very careful not to get surrounded by the Zerglings with the Ravagers in tow. He's going to protect his pylon with the Blink Stalkers off a creep. Ravager's going to struggle a bit more. Some of the Stalkers getting chased off. Zerglings get the pylon, and Zoun actually gets supply blocked off it. There's nothing to protect this base, and he can't warp in because he's supply blocked. A little awkward. Begrudgingly taking a fourth. 12 more Zerglings. Even, like, he has so much gas in the bank. Serral right now. He's got 1,800 gas. What are you doing with 1,800 gas, Serral? You gonna flood the market? Infestation pit. There it is. He doesn't have a Spire. He doesn't have a Hive. He doesn't have anything to sink this gas into besides maybe Banelings and Ravagers, but even then. Honestly, I think that went well for Zoun. Let's see if the statisticals bear it out. Yep. 4,400 to 2,300. He did lose 800 gas, but overall, definitely momentum to Zoun, especially considering he killed the fourth. Oh, the battery. Oh! Get down, Mr. Probe! Beautiful body block there. The blink block. They're rolling right at you. Zoun is playing so well right now. It's great to watch. Templar Archives. +1 attack. Serral still has plenty of production, but he doesn't have that Hive yet. The infestation bit. Honestly, I wouldn't mind a few infestors. Storm is on the way. Ooh. Actually using it against this heavy Ravager lane composition. Oh, wow. Quick recall. That's one of those recalls that seems like a good idea right up until 0.3 seconds after you recall. You get that post-recall clarity where you're like, huh, maybe those 3 zealots were not as important as I originally thought, and now I lost my most important tool for moving around the map. But it does inspire Zoun to... it inspires quite a dramatic wall-off there. 4 gates, 3 cannons, full campaign defenses enabled. Alright, the Stalkers, here comes Serral. He's got a whole lot. Storm in 13 seconds. He sacrifices a Stalker. I don't know if intentionally or not, but he sacrifices the Stalker. And it eats like half a dozen Banelings. Obviously, you don't want to crash Banelings into singular Stalkers. Here come the Oracles. Zoun right now, he's set up the defenses. He's preparing for the siege. Well, what a game so far. Oh, beautiful! The storm is revealed in dramatic fashion. The Stalkers will blink to the side, chasing Banelings. Banelings, how many Banelings just got taken down? 34 Banelings have been killed before they could actually attack. He's got... Zoun is maxed out. He's good to go. Let's fight. Beautiful storms. He's got a blocking stasis here. Banelings from every side. But the stasis catches the flank. And right now, Serral, he's maxed out with nowhere to go. His army is not... He needs to fight so he can rebuild. But the Stalkers are just blinking back. The Archon absorbing so much, his army just evaporates. It's gone. All the Banelings and Lings taken out. Just melted by the storms. He comes out of stasis. Serral is getting outplayed right now. Incredible preparation. Great control. Zoun storming his own units because they can take it. And Serral's desperately mustering his defenses. The storms on the edges of the Stalker, sacrificing a few for the many, and 2-1. Match point for Zoun. Beautifully done. I am impressed, okay? I don't think I've ever been impressed to this extent by Zoun. But this is the best I've ever seen him play. And against the best player in the world. He is on point right now. Okay, Serral. Serral just does not have an answer. Even the game he won was more Zoun running out of steam than I think Serral winning. We're going to Moondance. And Stargate, it hasn't been Sky Toss. It has been this early ground timing into just constant pressure. He hasn't really won any games or decided games on one or two bases, but he starts the pressure so early and he's controlling it so well. The stasis wards, the real MVPs in that last match. A very rarely do multiple stasises really turn the game, but it wasn't a fluke. He planned on it, he set it up, and it worked out for him. I don't know. What can Serral do better? Hydras? They're not cheap. Here's the thing. Getting to Hydras... against a Blink Stalker army, the best counter is Hydra Link. That is the best army you can build against it. But Hydras are not cheap. Getting the Hydra Den, getting the upgrades, getting enough larvae to put Zerglings in front, you can't just build it against the first round of Blink Stalkers. It kind of suffers a lot from the same issues that Mutas can have, where by the time you get enough of them, it's already their best time has already passed. Especially if there hasn't been something early where you either damaged their economy or you crushed an attack or something. So that is why I think Serral's shying away from the Hydras, is they just don't find a timing. And they don't fill that timing any better than Ravagers. Especially when you factor in things like Force Field. Janus Blanks, I am so impressed. Honestly, I came into this series, I don't know exactly how it goes, but I thought if Zoun beats Serral, he's going to get some good disruptor shots. It always happens. He'll get a game or two. But he's outplaying Serral. Just outright. This is not a fluke. It is not, got lucky. It is consistent, decisive, and precise preparation. Protoss. Play. Please. Pylons. Power. Parting. Nope. No, we're done. It's over. Is this straight up Glaives? This is Jimmy. Get our build order guide. How many times do I have to ask? We gotta have these things on hand. Let's get the build order out. Yep. Oh, we're not quite there. Wait for it. Serral has not yet started his Roach Warren. Ah, there we go. Nowadays, you don't get a lair with this, by the way. If you suspect it's going to be Glaive Adepts, you don't get a lair. That's the difference. Usually if you get a lair, you die. Because the Glaive Adepts hit too hard, too fast, and lair tech does nothing besides waste your money. So we will see. That is the adaptation most Zergs have made. There's the lair. He's at 44 drones. But we are on Moondance. Wow, look at Serral's map vision.
Swarm forces under attack.
I love that he uses the Avatar announcer as well. But he's got Lings here. Overlord at the back. Creep spread. Overlords in the corners.
Swarm
looking
forces
amazing, right?
under attack.
That now he can see it. Here comes the relevant part. Can he stop it? He's gonna use the temporary wall. He's gonna use the spore crawler as a semi-removable, like it's like opening the windows. It's a whole deal. But once you do it, then I mean it's not like you can't close them. It's just annoying, right? You have to get up and. And the spore crawler serves that purpose of being a temporary building wall. Honestly, the real MVPs are the big O's for Zoun. The real MVPs this series have been the Observers and the Oracles. Knowledge is power. And that knowledge and that power has kept Zoun in the know. He's kept Vision pretty much... He's just gonna fight. He's gonna try to isolate the roaches outside the house. They are locked out right now. And we'll target some of them down, but he does lose a critical mass for death. That Spore moves back, but it's still in vision. But that means there's nothing to block the Adepts from getting in. Obviously, the roaches are there. Zoun has to know that. He cancels, yeah. All but Adepts! Oh, this gets so annoying so fast. Serral's managed to make it to 59 drones. Pretty good. He does have the back base, which is only 6 mineral patches instead of 8, 1 gas instead of 2, but better than nothing. Very much so. Oh, the 4th base. The roaches, speed done in a few seconds here. And not going to be enough Adepts to take it down. Zoun built a Ruptor. He's got Gravitic Drive on the way. Warp Prism speed. Here we go again. I think Serral is in one of the best spots he's been against these early Ruptors. He's got the best economy. He really didn't take any damage from the Adepts. He didn't crush it, but he hasn't been slowed down nearly as much. But 2 Disruptor shots have changed many things in the past, and I'm sure they will again. Well, away we go. God, we can't... The follow camera is too slow to keep up with the Ruptors. Shots fired. Hits 5. Oh my god, he doesn't have Ling speed. He's realized he's upgrading it. Yeah, but that's a lot of Lings to have without speed. It wasn't a priority against Glaved Adepts, obviously. Oh my. Is this attack? Zoun's moving out. He's on the ragged edge of these attack timers. In fact, he may have crossed it here, as he doesn't have blank yet. He'd love to attack before Serral upgrades speed, obviously, but... Stop right there. But blank is not yet done. So, here we go again. He's really put this attack together. How many gates we got behind it? 8 gates. Full production here. Still building probes, I might add. No forge, that I can tell. With the... Nope, no forge. I don't need to guess. Hive. This is Serral's... He's gonna go Vipers. He's rushing Hive. In context, it's a rush, I would call. Based on everything that's happened. Last game, he didn't have the tech. His 200 supply army did nothing. He was maxed out with nowhere to go. Ravager Ling Bane just isn't good enough. It's not going to beat what Zoun's bringing to the table. Vipers, on the other hand, Blinding Cloud, great against groups of Blink Stalkers. Abduct can outright shut down disruptors or help catch the Prism. I think Vipers and Adrenal Gland Zerglings, that might be the ticket. Right now, Zoun's coming in with the disruptors, but the Queens have had enough. The 4th base. Oh, first disruptor shot fired. Gets a single Ravager. Second shot. Clips some Lings. No Bane speed, but Serral desperately wants to hit this timing. Oh, and Zerglings from the back line. He might not even get to the hive. Zoun is getting overrun. This army needs to be together and apart. It gets surrounded and slaughtered. Serral's counterattack. He didn't wait for all these silly upgrades. He may not lose right this moment, but now that Disruptor Prism has a lot of weight to carry. Oh. And the Zerglings are not going to let him drop out. Yeah, he can't. Wow, that's a very... He tried. He thought about it. The Observer going to be taken down. Vipers on the way. And Serral already did some pretty critical damage there. Zoun has actually lost more minerals and over double the gas. So, he has the army to strongly discourage that Prism from remaining in the area. So he can't actually kill it. Well. Yeah, enough Zerglings. And they have +2 melee. They're going to have Adrenal Glands. This is quite a deficit. Yeah, that... He's getting Storm. Ultralisk Cavern. That Viper. Get... Yep. Did he see the Viper? He will. Oh, there's no way he's not queued up. But then again, what are you going to do? Like... The Vipers are spotted. He wants the feedbacks. Fires Disruptors. Trying to get out before the Vipers can. Feedback on 1. Archon Morph. And Serral has way too much. He runs him over. Serral understanding the strength he had in that moment. And Zoun as well. We're going to Game 5. Zoun a little too eager on his timing. And gets his head bitten off. I don't think it was poorly played. But it was Serral's adapting. This is why I think we're seeing here why Protoss usually struggle in longer series. The more chances you give the Zerg... I mean, he's literally using the Abathur Announcer Pack. The more chances you give the Zerg to adapt, the harder and harder it's going to get. It does feel like as Protoss, you have to bring 2, 3, 4 different styles to the table in order to try to catch your opponent off guard enough to get those leads. That's not saying that I think Zoun, like, the build was necessarily bad or executed badly. It was... Each time there's a thinner margin. Each time you have less opportunity to get damage because Serral is adapting to it. And also not a great map for Glaive to Depths, to be honest. I think that's what Zoun was counting on. He's like, this is actually the worst map for Glaive to Depths. You literally can't get in the base. You can get 3 bases and just wall them off, which Serral did. So I think that was kind of the counter 4D chess metagame there. Because on that map, you're expecting Turtle Toss, like in the Sky Toss, maybe. But instead, he comes out with a unit that can be walled off. So that was maybe a bit too ambitious. So far, it has been Serral absorbing the attacks or failing to. Serral has yet to initiate anything. It has either been those light counterattacks or heavy ones or just crumbling to Zoun's pressure. Then again, Serral is not known, is no dark. Dark would have already proxied 2 hatcheries in this series. Who knows how it would have ended, but... Serral is looking like he's back to the default. He's back to expanding to his 3rd, and then eventually his natural. Building some queens. 1 overlord across the map to get as much info as he can, but he'll probably be shot down by something or other. And I want to take... We're on Game 5. You made it this far. If you haven't yet, smash the like button, subscribe. I've been enjoying the games lately. There's such a huge amount of games between the new patch and all the tournaments. Even though this is supposed to be the off-season, there's still literally dozens of games a day between Wardy's tournaments, ESL, Homestory Cup, Team Alpha X, Elim League, and occasionally you get ladder games as well. There's actually far too many good games for the fans. But thank you for watching. You can check out the one playlist we have is the pro game casting playlist, which is not very explanatory, but if you missed a match, it's probably there. Believe it or not, it's only 50% Byun. I haven't verified those numbers. You'll have to check. Not a single Byun in this match, I know. It sounds crazy, but it's true. Oracle coming across. Game 5. A drone did die. I think 2 of the dead, but yes. Nobody risking anything right now. What will Zoun do? Because Serral is going to try to get to like 60 to 70 drones, 4 bases, and then flood units while slowly teching up towards Hive or, well, probably Hive. The question is what will Zoun do about it at the end of the day? And we've got the evolution chamber. Wow, he hasn't walled off. He's not... Alright, when you see the Oracle, you're not suspicious of an early Glaives all-in. And a 3rd base. And multiple Oracles. And a Phoenix. And extra gases at the net. Okay, so there were a lot of tells that it wasn't going to be an early Glaives all-in. Baneling Nest on the way. Still no lair for Serral. That's probably next on the agenda. As he thinks about a 4th. A drone, unlucky. Down, using those queens as well. Adepts jamming themselves in. Yeah, doesn't even want to bother with that. Starting to get quite late on the lair, I would say. As Serral continuing to make Zerglings. See? Well, loses 1 Oracle, does ya? Serral's doing a Zergling all-in. Well, I take it back. Alright. It wasn't... I think... Therefore I am. Huh. Well, did he see the Bane... Did Zoun see the Baneling Nest? Templar Archives is finishing right this moment. 1 Archon could be a game changer in this defense. 1 Archon could be the difference between defeat and defense. I don't know about victory, but... Well, here comes Serral. Banelings wandering in. Force fields. Force fields? Oh, beautiful force field keeps the shield battery alive a little bit longer. 7 probes down, but that's acceptable losses. That Archon is not dying. That Archon barely touched throughout all this. The Oracle hanging out. That was not enough. A single Archon. 19 kills. And barely lost a 1/3 of the shields. That Archon saved the game. I think the 3rd base dies without it. And that Archon is the difference between the 3rd base dying and getting a 4th. Well, the 4th is maybe optimistic. Serral is still building Zerglings. He goes with the full Platinum League, but you didn't expect 50 more Zergling strategy. The Oracle has 16 kills. The Archon has 21. Serral has lost... Yeah, between them, that's the majority of the Lings lost. Either flavor. Wow. This is beautifully put. He called it perfectly. He had to have seen the Bane Nest. Yeah, he saw the Bane Nest morphing. So he prioritized... If he had gone Disruptor, it would have done nothing. He got a Robo, but he did not go for the Robo Bay. That's huge. He decided on the Templar Archives, and it was the perfect choice. Zoun is working... That was... Honestly, that was kind of a sad attack. But without that Archon, it definitely would have done serious damage. This is Zoun adapting. Serral is up to 76 drones. The problem is... Well, the problem, in this case... 4 bases, 75 workers, and all the tech. And with a lair coming in this late... Serral is just going to be in a worse spot than the previous games. He's just not going to have as many units with as good of upgrades and nearly as much map control. So, remember that game where Storm just evaporated the whole army? That is very much on the table, considering Storm just started. And there's still some Banelings waiting for an opportunity, but... Zoun's at 80 drones, Serral's at 80... Well, Zoun's at 80 probes, Serral's at 80 drones. He's getting an infestation pit. He's going to have to get a little lucky, I think. He's going to have to catch some counterattacks and crush at least one major attack before he can even think about Hive. Baneling speed is pretty far from done. +2 melee attack just started. +2 Protoss ground. And Storm and Blink. A little bit of everything. All coming together. It's going to be Serral, who is one bad fight away. Zoun just playing really solid. Hive tech begins. Zoun coming in with the Oracle yet again. He wants to see, wants to know. Slaps the Revelation down. May lose the Oracle. Will he rebuild it immediately? We'll see. But sees the Hive. That you move out. Yeah, it's time. This is it. This is the time. He doesn't have Hive tech. He just invested. It's not going to get any better for you as you max out. Storm is going to be done. +2 melee done. Blink on the way. The Archon count is intimidating. 7 of them. With the Templar behind, potentially for more after some storms. Is there a Prism? Yes. All the pieces have come together. Serral is setting up for the multi-pronged surround. Or a huge counterattack. But it's spotted here. No Blink. But enough time. Whoa! The Queens will shut down the attack in the main. There's a counterattack. Oh, Stasis. Serral backed off at the last second, but the Stalkers hold the line. Zoun with the multi-layered defense in depth. It works perfectly. Serral even dodged the Stasis somewhat, but it wasn't enough. Another counter. Blink on the way. Zoun maxed out. Oh, beautiful Storm opportunity. He gets it. He takes it. He melts it. And now, some more. You gotta be careful. The force fields aren't gonna work against this Guardian Shield. There's too many Archons in front, but the Storms are devastating damage across the line. The Roaches, badly bruised, and everything else is already dead. Couple more Zealots. Gonna take down another one of Serral's bases, while his 4th base is being pressed by the Archon Immortal. Another round of Baneling, but another Storm softens him up. The Archons will chew through, but the Immortals are kind of caught in front here. Just one Immortal. Archon's not that much. Even a Phoenix getting in on the action. Lifting up even more. Zoun is pressing through. Reinforcements coming in for Serral, but the Warp Prism is adding in more for Zoun. That last Immortal. No more Archons means that Serral might be able to slap together a defense. But at what cost? 122 blocks forward. +2 done. Adrenal glands. I don't know. It's not relevant, and it's not done. The Zealot count is too damn high. And Zoun has found his timing. it was a bit dicey there for a moment, but the counterattacks were good. The defense was great. The control was immaculate. And right now, Zoun is pressing through. He's getting a little distracted by 2 eggs. He's waiting for another warp-in as the Zealots sprint into the Banelings like it's the Legacy of the Void cinematic. But I think this one's going to end pretty well for the Protoss as Serral taps out. Zoun 3 to Serral's 2. And he deserved it. That was a decisive victory there. That was not, like, could have gone either way. Zoun was the better player today. And that was some incredible Protoss. Inspiring, intimidating. He went from the Disruptor Demon to the Storm Fiend. And Serral falls, ending his streak at Homestory Cup. And thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. We put this video up for you as well. Jimmy, get it, Jimmy? But I hope I made your day a little bit better. Thank you to Homestory Cup. And those beautiful players, Zoun. Well, we're gonna have to watch some more, I think. That was impressive. Thank you for watching. Good luck, have fun. Stay tuned.